the lights are bright. Good, I can see it now. Good evening. I'd like to call the meeting of the Neighborhood Improvement Services Advisory Committee to order. I'd also like to thank the viewing audience for tuning in. I would like to ask Ms. Marcia Wright if she would lead us in the invocation.
All right, bow our heads. Dear Lord, we thank you for this day. Even though for some of us it began in sorrow, it ends in gladness because we're once again happy to come together to do the business of the city of Jacksonville. We hope that everything that we do and say will be pleasing in your sight. If there are persons who are on their way, please give them traveling mercies. Some of our members are on the road going to see family and friends, and we hope that you will watch out for them as well. But we just are thankful to come together again, and we hope that everything we do will be for the good of the community, our city, our county, our state, our nation, and also for you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Welcome, and we will have introductions, starting with Gloria Whitney, member.
Jerry March, member.
Pamela Trafton, Senior Neighborhood Improvement Service Coordinator.
Marsha Wright, member.
And I'm Paula Jones, newly elected Chair of Neighborhood Improvement Services. Thank you for tuning in. Let's move on to adoption of the agenda. We do not have a quorum of our members here, so can we adopt the agenda by consensus?
Yes.
Yes, we agree.
So we will table the agenda minutes. Am I correct?
That's correct.
Okay, appointment ceremony, Councilman Brian Jackson.
Table.
We'll have to table that as well. My dog was gonna be real happy. Approval of minutes, we table that. Am I correct?
Correct.
Got it. Planning board update, Steve. Traveling. Table. Neighborhood improvement initiatives, Miss Pam.
Yes. So good evening. How's everyone doing? All right. So what I want to bring forth to you is our current state of our projects that we have taken place. This shows you a demolition that we are currently in the process of at 102 Stratford. This was the home previous to demolition. It is currently in demolition status right now. This was the last rubble that was left, and they should be cleaned up this week. So it'll be 100% done at 102 Stratford, right here behind the convention center.
Oh, okay.
The conference center.
Okay. Oh,
So that's where
I see it
102
now.
Stratford is.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Our pre-application funding opportunity workshop for our nonprofits, we hosted on December 6th, December 7th, and then we also called a third meeting on December 11th. So we ended up having over 30 organizations in attendance, and the requirement is for those organizations that are interested in applying for our fiscal year 25 funding. So applications went out today. The applications are due February 15th by 5 p.m. and that will take place for those organizations that were in attendance. For any new organizations or those that would like to have their applications reviewed prior to submission, we have a technical review date of January 22nd, and the agencies will actually schedule an appointment with us on that day between 9 and 2 p.m. so we can review their application and see if there's anything that needs to be clarified before they submit their application.
And what's the other deadline? I'm sorry, February?
February 15th is the actual application date. Okay. Go ahead and save your dates for February 1st and the 2nd. That is our annual Nonprofit Board Development Conference. This is our 2-day conference that helps satisfy the requirement that board members, at least 51% of their board has gone through some type of formal training. If the agencies have not hosted a training on their own accord, then this conference allows them to meet that criteria. It's also a great opportunity for you just to see what is going on in the community, what's taking place, what training is there. We are doing a panel this year. We hosted a panel last year with our council members and our county commissioners. This year, we're hosting the panel with our city manager, county manager, chamber president, economic development executive director, small business center director as well. So we're looking at those that are boots on the ground, leadership, and be able to Q&A with the audience and just answer any questions that may come up on the conference.
Is it too late,
So, public safety.
or when is there a deadline for signing?
Yeah, so registration is today open, and you have until January 30th to register. And the website is jacksonvillenc.gov/nonprofit.
So we can publish that right now, because generally, especially with organizations like ours, where we have people who have come from out of town or are away, it's generally easy for me to put it out there, say if you want to register, we can go ahead. I think we have enough information on them to go ahead and register them than to wait around and they miss the deadline. But it's really good if you have never been. It's absolutely very good expenditure of time to come.
It was nice when it was Zoom, though.
When it was Zoom?
It was much easier to attend.
All right, so that is our nonprofit conference. And then for our youth council, our youth board members, they have a 2024 youth grant application available now as well. So our Harmony Grant Board, we are excited because due to COVID, we closed off that portion of the youth council. And this year we are able to open it up and bring it back. So we've had 10 board members, 10 youth that have sat around this exact table and have acted in the same capacity as our adults have when it comes to doing grant applications. We have a facilitator with Leading to Change that has come out and talked about how to use your time, talent, treasures, being a philanthropist, and actually come up with the application of what they're looking for from youth organizations. From their individual meetings that we've had, they focus on the specific topics, which are substance abuse, mental health, future readiness, resource drives, sports, and/or field day activities. And for those that are unfamiliar with Harmony, this application will go to youth organizations, or if you are an organization that has a youth program, then the youth themselves can apply for funding. And if they have, let's say, for example, your organization or the young ladies that you have with Alpha Kappa Alpha, if they want to put a program on for substance abuse, they would apply through Harmony, say what the program is going to be. There's an actual application, they do a budget, they tell us what the program will look for. They have to submit the applications by January 19th. And then the great thing about it is the Harmony board members will actually interview the youth organization participants. So if your young ladies wanted to apply, they would come in and actually do an interview with the Harmony board members. And from there, the Harmony board members will come back, they'll discuss the different applications that they received, and they'll decide which organizations will actually receive funding. And then we do an actual ceremony presenting them with the check, right. And then they have until the end of the year to spend the funds and implement that project. So if you know any youth organizations from church, school, nonprofits, any youth organization.
I was gonna ask you about church. One thing I'm gonna ask you for the Jacksonville Youth Council, what is the age
I'll get ready.
or the school, grade,
So-
age and grade?
So the youth council is high school students, 9th through 12th grade. We have had some 8th graders come in.
9 through what? 9 through 12.
We have had some 8th graders that have came because they may have had siblings that were in high school. So they came together at that same time. I try not to go younger than 8th grade only because of age and maturity levels. But 8th grade is normally the starting point. In this new year, we're going to be looking at some opportunities that middle school students may be able to come in the spring. And that will give an opportunity for our youth council members to act as leaders and mentors to the middle school
That's what I was
students.
gonna ask you, because I got a lady that has 3, it's gonna be 13, 12, and 13. She's dying for them to get in the youth council. There's a bunch of kids that, I call them at-large kids, that needs to be in the youth council. Because I saw when you had the parade, wasn't that many there. And so if it's the 8th grade, they can, like you said, they should be able to, the ones that are in 9th and 10th grade, like my grandson was, they can minister to the youth, the young ones, right? And that way when they do, get in the 9th grade, they already know what it's all about. And you'll have a lot more for cleaning houses like we did, cleaning yards and stuff during the summer. Because some of these boys need to be in those programs.
Right.
And they can't wait till you to get them in high school, because by then they're on their own and they don't want to come and do what you ask them anyway. But you can have a lot of the young ones that come and help these old people clean up their yards and stuff like that when we used to, if they were younger. So I'm just saying, kind of like the Harmony program when we went down and that's a great program right there.
Well, have her
It's
reach
really
out
great.
to me, or you can give her my name and number.
Okay,
Because
because they've been asking me, when can I get them into the youth program?
yeah,
They
just
need to
have her
go
contact
someplace.
me.
And these are people that are in church, so they want to put their kids in some place where they're gonna be disciplined, and if they don't be, then they'll take care of them, right? We
And
still beat our kids.
We also have a program
On
that's
TV.
directed to middle school.
Yeah, middle school,
Kids,
yeah.
They have to be in middle school. We can't
No,
take
I mean-
high school kids. No, this is
Oh, okay.
a different one, so I'll talk with you about that, because
Mhm.
the idea is we know this is there, but like you say, there's a gap there.
There's a gap, that's what I'm saying, those that we're
And so
losing
we
in the
have
middle.
programs that they can get kind of oriented to the
into.
idea of doing all these things you're talking about, especially that future readiness.
Yeah,
And then move right on in to high school.
and then you have to move to the
You
next
know.
step, like you do when you go from 8 to 9. Like when Corey came in, when he was in Jacksonville Middle.
Yeah.
But at that time, he had the mindset, because, we were
Mindset.
always doing stuff. I take him to the soup kitchen and all this kind of stuff to learn him how to do, that stuff, like cleaning the yards of elderly women that, didn't have any help or anything like that. So it wasn't no problem for them, and it was good for me because you kept him learning, You have to keep them busy so that they'll do that. But it's a gap there now with all of these out here now, and like a bunch of ladies in church, Marshall Chapel, our church, and another lady from one of the other churches was asking me. She said, "Well, when does the youth council? What about that?" I said, "I have to ask."
So
them."
there's
Yeah, just give her
Okay,
my
I'll
name
give
and
her your number.
Yeah, and then that way I can talk to them and
Yeah, it's something to think about.
yeah.
Get them off the street.
All right, home buyers education. So we are planned for our 2024 calendar. The first one is February 3rd, May 18th, September 7th,
home buyers
November
for?
2nd. All the classes are on Saturdays from 8 to 5. It's $25 per person, lunch is provided. And they can call us at 910-938-5286. If they register online, they will have to contact us directly to take payment over the phone. Online registration does not solidify the seat, payment does.
Did you say 5386, 5286?
5286.
Okay. I thought it was.
938-5286.
Then our money management seminars, we have March, June, August, October, and December.
That listed on the back.
And those are free classes from 9 to 1. And we have a new instructor that has done an awesome job. She hosted the December class this year and closed out as Miss Letitia. If I hadn't said her name. So it's Miss Letitia. She actually worked with Miss Rachel for the past 5 years. So she has picked up a lot of the knowledge and information and skills from Miss Rachel. And because she was actually a client of Miss Rachel, she can come at it from not only the professional standpoint, but also from the standpoint of, I've been where you're at, where you're trying to go, and help bring you forth.
It's a good class. I remember taking it years ago and doing some of the things that were suggested. The doohickey and the envelopes. That was one of that
Cash
was the one
envelopes?
that I did, yeah. And it did work, and I was able to pull myself up out of, but if you don't keep it up, you have to keep it up.
Yes.
But they do work.
Okay. So we'll go into community development. We are in the beginning stages and in the middle as going through our community input sessions with our 5-year consolidated plan, which includes our first annual action plan for fiscal year 24 through 25. Our 5-year plan, we've been taking the show on the road, and we've had multiple community input sessions. We've met over 100 different people in these community input sessions since we started November 8th through just recently. We was at the Board of Realtors on December 11th. So with that, it's been a matter of presenting the information to those in attendance and also getting survey feedback. Our survey goes all the way until February the 15th. And there's an opportunity for 3 people to win a $25 gift card. They can go to our website, jacksonvillenc.gov/NIS, or they can scan this QR code and it will take them directly to the website as well. And you should have received an email that had the QR code and the link directly in your email as well, so that way you can share the information out to others. And we'll send it out as reminders because we know the holidays are here. So a lot of Christmas shopping and then New Year planning, and we'll bring it back to your remembrance. Okay. Some of the projects that we're doing, we have the rehabilitation rental that's taking place over on New River Drive still at 728, 730, and 732 and 734 New River Drive. So those are projected to be complete by March.
By March. What are they doing besides tearing the roofs off? Because when I was over there, I was stopped and I looked, and it was tearing the roof off. A bunch of guys was up on the roof and stuff. Are they fixing them up, or they gonna tear them all down?
No, these
And
are
start
complete,
again.
These are complete rehabs.
Oh, okay.
So they had new doors installed. The roof is complete. The insides were gutted out already,
Right.
and they'll go in and do a full rehab.
Okay.
And then these will be specific for low moderate income through a partnership with East Carolina Human Services, which was one of the requirements in doing the rehab.
Okay, that's good.
All right. So that concludes our updates.
Thank you so much, Ms. Pam, for the updates. Let's go to One City, Our City, My City moment. Anyone have any thing to share? I do have something. I noticed that in my neighborhood, downtown by the waterfront, they should have already started. I think it started at 5. The city employees are down in the park sharing Santa and hot chocolate and hot, I don't know, it's hot cocoa and hot tea or whatever down there, and pictures with Santa and games. And it's a drive-through.
Okay.
And I think you can get out and walk activity. And it's from today and tomorrow
And Thursday.
and Thursday.
I'll tell this lady with her kids.
Yeah, so 5 to 8 p.m.
Today, what time? Tomorrow.
5 to 8.
5 to 8.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So if you can
That's
get
a
out,
nice thing. Yeah.
it is nice. It is nice.
Some lady we met that has 4 kids, a set of twins, 9 and a 12-year-old, and she's single. So I'm gonna tell her to take her kids down so she can get out
and walk. through the
Oh,
park,
Lord,
or you can
please.
drive through,
Yeah.
and then get out and walk.
Mm-hmm.
Take the kids and
5 to 8.
walk the dog.
And and by the caboose?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
It starts up there and
By
then
the
it
train
goes
station.
all the way around. Any other?
I usually report somewhere on the agenda, so lately it's been at this point about our Bayshore Estates neighborhood program.
Yes, ma'am.
We're back and running after COVID. And I was trying to look on the dates, so I would say that probably includes it. We had Halloween in the park on Halloween, because we met last time here on the 30th, so the event was happening the next day. And we have so many people who are older or widows or whatever, you know, and myself included, I wasn't comfortable about doing it the way we used to do it. We would sit outside and give it away, you know, to have people coming to the door. So we decided as a group to do it in the Wilson Bay Park. So we set it up there, and we were on either side of that walkway that you walk into when you go out to the gazebo. And we had a blow-up thing that was real cute. Somebody, you know, we all came together, and then we had trick-or-treating. You know? And it turned out really well because it had dwindled down, I felt, so much over time with the younger children, because they had to come out like 5 o'clock, and, you know, people are rushing to get home and all this. But because we were in the park, parents felt safe because they weren't in the street. They just came, parked the car, took the kids out, and they walked up and to each table. We all had tables. And so they went back and forth, and got the candy and so on. And then later on, the teens came. And I think we wound up with, I don't think it was quite that many, as some reported, but I think it will grow, because once again, it's an easier way to get to everybody. We have music going on. We're going to expand it next time. And even those of us who participated liked it better. It was chilly out there now, but you know, because you're right there by the water, so that air coming, you know. But you bundled up and everything, you know, and you could see little costumes they had on and all this kind of thing. And a couple of people had walked up because they just drove past it and saw something going on and stopped and said, you know, we told them what it was. And one girl told me, she said, well, I have a friend who's got a couple of young kids just came to the area, so she didn't know really what. I said, but tell her, come on down here, you know, so she did. And so I think it's going to grow, but everybody agreed that it was the best way to handle it because they were safe in the park. You didn't have any traffic around them because they had parked the car, got out, came right into the park, so they weren't dodging cars going up and down the road. So that worked out well. And then we also had our holiday party. We did that on the, this is our band, because this is December we're in. And we did it, oh no, it was December, Monday the 4th. And we went down to the place that we normally meet. And I noticed that the group is growing because people are moving in there because, for one thing, the houses that are on sale or for sale are probably considerably less money than you're going to find like on Western Extension or some of the other developments. So you see younger families who are going back to the way things used to be back in the day, where you got into a smaller house as a starter home, and then you went on and grew, as opposed to what's been going on around here for too long, which is very young people, you know, 20, 21-year-old Marines who have an 18-year-old wife who's working at Burger King, and they're getting into a huge debt, trying to get into a house that's running them $250,000 and up. And they're not, because they didn't come down and take this course you had, they're really not understanding about how this money is going to work. And the note is okay for a while, then you get this balloon thing and all that, and next thing you know, houses are on the market because they've been foreclosed on because you just couldn't keep them up. And so we are getting newer people coming in, people come into the neighborhood, so it works out very well. We only meet 1 hour, 6 to 7, and that's it. And so it really is attracting folks, you know, from the area. And we cover a pretty good size area, from Stratford area all the way over to pretty much where Sturgeon City is. And all that. So it's a considerable area. And I think people are finding about word of mouth, you know, so it's working out very well. And I tell them I always report it because part of this group's, when you came on, was to work with the neighborhood,
Mhm.
to try to get neighborhoods to work for themselves and work
Right.
with the neighbors to, make your neighborhood better, and I think that's what's happening.
Mhm.
People do feel safer. We had some issues about the park for a minute there, and we had police jeep came in, and the person who patrols there, they came and talked to us. Brian came in with Councilman Sosa, and so we're just for those people who are watching, wherever you're living, if you're gonna go there and be there any length of time, you really
You need to
we're
get
better off getting to know who the people are around you, because
That's
this is a
right.
safety
Yeah.
issue. And
That's
sometimes
true.
people don't know about where the garbage is gonna be picked up. I've tried to get people to sign up if they're in the city limits for your alerts,
Okay.
Mhm.
which I just love
Yeah.
those.
I get them.
And you get a phone call, you get a text message,
Mhm.
and you
Everything.
get an email, and
Mhm.
that's perfectly fine, because now you can't say I didn't know something was coming.
Right.
At the storms and everything, So those who are listening, if you are interested in, just meeting people that you're living around, and if you have some issues in the neighborhood, you don't know where to go to,
Mhm.
I keep suggesting that when elected officials get elected, the best thing that they can do, and the thing that's important to do, is don't come around when you're trying to get just elected. If you are serving a ward, or if you're at large, find twice a year,
You know,
fall,
meet those
spring,
people.
winter, so whatever it is, to go to the
Mhm.
neighborhood. There's always a
Mhm.
leader, a church person, or you can always find space.
Mhm.
Go out to where you serve and find somebody who will call neighbors together, because you are elected to serve these people. And oftentimes, you stop people on the highway or the road, in the mall, they don't have no clue.
They
If
don't
they
know
live
what
in
wards
cities,
they live
they
in,
don't know
or
if they
That's
live
right.
their ward
They
representation
don't know
is.
whether or not they're in the city.
Yes,
Right.
Because folks showed up
yes.
to go vote who
Yeah.
don't live actually within the city limits, and they were very confused about that. And so I tell them I always want to report what we're doing, and they're welcome to come, to see how we are organized. It's not very formal, but it does work for us, and maybe they can start the same thing, where they live. So and they're very amenable to it, so it turned out to be very good. So we're just looking forward to, after the holiday, our next project, whatever that might be. Thank you.
That sounds good. Any more sharing? Anyone else have something to share? My city, one city, our city, my city moment. We can move on to future agenda topics. Does anyone have any topics that you'd like to share, or we can send them to Miss Pam and she can put them on our agenda?
Well, I will ask, I've been told that there is a retreat or workshop, whatever you want to call it, that's going on Wednesday at the Transportation Building for the city of Jacksonville.
The council members?
Is that what it is? And
Mhm.
I heard it was an open meeting, a public.
I'll get more details and send it out.
I'm trying to think of who told me, but,
would
well, I got something from Councilwoman Washington.
Okay.
And she said it was, I remember, the last time I remember something of this nature happening, it was George Jones was mayor.
Okay.
If
Yeah,
I
it
remember,
was, 'cause
remember,
I was
we were
under
at
him
the
too.
Commons,
Oh, yeah.
and they had tables, and we had to, you couldn't sit with somebody you knew, you had to go around.
Right.
And maybe the youth council was involved.
That's when the youth council was started.
Yes.
Yeah, it was
Mhm.
started
that was
under George-
98.
George
Young
Jones, you
people
wasn't
were
even here
doing
then.
It
And
was a
they,
while back.
Yeah, and they
Yeah.
came in and they just talked about where you see things going and what kind of things we want to focus on and all
Did that
that.
over at, over here too.
They did one at the conference
At
center.
the
Yeah,
conference
at the
center, I went
conference
to
center.
that
The
one.
very, very first one was out at the Commons, because
Mhm.
Commons was brand new, so that goes back a while.
I didn't go to
Yeah.
the conference.
And that's hard to put together, I'm sure, but it makes people who do bear the tax burden to feel more involved, because that way you can't say you weren't invited. You come down there, and this precedes any Zoom or Teams or any technological meeting. You had to come in person, you had to participate in person.
Right.
And so, I just wondered about that. So when we look at future topics, I had planned to go for at least some of it. It's a long day from what I understand, 12 to 5. So that's a pretty good chunk.
What is
This
it,
week?
Wednesday?
Mm-hmm. Day after tomorrow. What's the day?
Wednesday.
Monday. Day after tomorrow.
What I'll
What
do is
time,
I'll, reach out to CMO and get the information, and I'll send it to y'all via email.
Okay. Because I would like
I don't do no
clarification on
email,
whether this
so you
is
have to
actually
tell me
open
now.
or not. Because
Okay.
I said,
what I was hearing was not anything official.
Okay.
Marcia, give me the time and where.
It said it was 12 to 5 at the new transportation, on
At
17,
Station Hub.
At where?
Highway 17, the transportation.
Oh, okay, transportation building. From 9 to 12.
No, 12 to 5,
Oh, what I got that now?
noon to 5. But once again, we'll wait for you to tell us because I was not getting that.
We went to one, I don't know, a long time ago though.
Mhm.
I remember
probably
we
won't have
couldn't
an
sit,
appointment.
we had to sit with people that we
We,
weren't familiar
we
with.
didn't
I
know,
just
we
remember
didn't, we
doing it
couldn't sit
over
with
here.
people
I
that we know.
remember going to the Commons.
That was the second one I went to. The
Yeah.
first one, the very first one that I remember
Yeah.
going to was at the Commons because it was
It was a
huge.
good
Yeah.
meeting.
It was,
It was a good, we put everything on anchor charts.
That was
Yeah,
big.
they were,
And hung them on the wall, all our thoughts and
that was on
ideas. and-
beautification then.
Yes, you
And I
were.
couldn't sit with anyone
Mhm.
that was on the board of beautification.
But I
Okay.
can't think of anything we hadn't already talked about beyond that, so I think we'd wait and see what comes.
Okay.
from that.
Do we have any other questions or comments? Members are encouraged to submit comments for committee consideration and awareness.
I have a comment.
Yes, ma'am.
It's not a comment, it's sort of like a request. I wanna ask people, there's something that bugs me. Most people don't even know their neighbor.
Okay.
And there are so many people that are in homes that are living by themselves that don't know nothing that's going on out there, and they're scared to go out there. They're older people, like in Northwoods. There's a lot of old ones where their husbands passed away and they just there. And so when I asked one girl from the church, I said, could you find out if there was some people that are hungry? Next thing she said, I said, ask your church. And he said, oh my God, you called me and I got 2 old ladies that are very in need. So I fixed 2 boxes and he picked them up at church yesterday. But anything I'm saying, please, for the sake of us being during the wintertime, get to know your neighbor, find out what's going on in your neighborhood. And if anybody's in need of help, try to see if you can call somebody to help them if you can't help. Even if you can just give them a can of beans, or don't let them go hungry, and check on your neighbor. If people check on your dogs, so you can check on your next door neighbor. Or no, you don't have to be your next door neighbor. It could be people 3 houses down the street. A lady just moved in with me and next door to me. And they're kind of young, they're a young family. They're motorcycle riders. But anyway, so Corey, I told Corey, I said, well, go over and ask them, because you have to ask people if they want stuff. You just don't give it to them. And I said, ask them if we had a lot of French rolls and stuff that came in that church. Ask them, do they like croissants and bread and cakes and muffins and all that kind of stuff? So the little girl came to the door and she said, my mama said she'll take anything you have. So anyhow, packed up that box, went back out to church, over here at church, packed up my car, took it back. Girl, I put everything. We had boxes of green peppers, tomatoes and stuff. We're just sitting there at church. And I don't ever let anything go to waste. I figured somebody can eat, and these were just bought in from Sam's. Everything we get is from Sam's. So I packed a big box up, took it to her, and she thanked me about 15 times. Because I told her, I said, tell her to come get this box because it's too heavy for us to carry. Because she had to drag it up. Canned goods, good Lord, Sam just cleaned out. And every time after the holiday, they give us like everything in the store. I mean, we had a box this high full of croissants. Big, about wide as this table. Don't you know I had to try to give away all that stuff because I didn't want to see it go to waste.
And you never know what situation.
That's why you never know that people are hungry. They won't let you know.
No, they won't.
That until you get to them and say, you said, ma'am, we got free food. I said, we have a food desert. One lady does food herself. She said she got 15 people she delivered to. She drives all the way to Richland. Her husband was a sheriff and he died. Remember the one that died during exercise, the sheriff?
Yes.
That's her husband. That's Desiree's husband. She lives down the street. She get her van and she drives and pick up the food, drive it all the way to Richland.
Wow.
Some customers, all in Northwoods and everything.
People are really.
And I said, if one lady can do that, then we can do just one thing. Next door, 2 doors down or
She
whatever.
comes and works on Fridays, Desiree. She comes and works on
Yeah.
Fridays at St. Julia,
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
giving out
Cause she
food.
she giving out food.
Yeah.
And she picks it up, she stop, she works at her baby's, grandson daycare too.
Mhm.
And then she gets off, go pick up the food, and she be out till 8 o'clock at night delivering food.
Mhm.
And that's what made me think, you know what, I have to get out there and help her do something. I just go pick it up at church and just drop it off everywhere. I said, my car looked like a caravan.
That's helping out. So we encourage all of you to help someone this holiday season. We never know when people may need help or what kind of help they need. So we encourage you to
Reach
drop
out.
by a food bank and reach out to someone.
Reach out. Yeah.
Help someone who may be in need. There's some key dates here. Ms. Pam's kind of gone through most of them, I think. December 25th, 26th, our city offices are closed. January 1st, city offices are closed. January 15th, city offices are closed. February 1st and 2nd, Nonprofit Board Development Conference. February 3rd, Homebuyer Education Course. February 11th, African American Read-In. That's,
Oh, they do
The
have that
Sunday.
again, huh?
It's on a Sunday.
it's on a Sunday. Is it here?
Where the kids
Okay.
sit in and read.
Yeah, I think
Read
it's
stories.
usually at 2 o'clock, if I'm not mistaken. The calendar should be coming out soon
Okay.
if you
It'll
haven't
be on the
received
I
calendar.
it.
haven't
Right,
received
okay.
it, so I don't know. if
And
we,
the
are
board
on it.
development conference, is that here in this building?
No, it's actually gonna be at the Center for Public Safety.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Center for Public Safety.
Mhm. And our next meeting is February the 26th.
Yes.
Christmas is coming up. Everyone be safe this Christmas weekend, coming into Sunday and Monday. We need to announce meetings.
Oh, they're on the screen. So February 26th, the next meeting, April 22nd, and then June 24th. And then in her absence, Ms. Tracy wanted to give her thank you and her gratitude for all the love that has been shared from the committee and for those that know that she's been out. So she welcomes and she appreciates all the love that she has received.
She's so welcome.
I don't know of any contact beyond here. Could we send something here that you all could forward, or did she mind having her?
Well, if
mailing
you bring
address?
it here, or I'll ask her if she's okay with it being
Okay.
released. And then if she is, then I'll send it out. Otherwise, you can drop it off here and then we'll get it to her. So she's been doing some pickups along the way.
Oh,
Been doing- One question,
That's
did you
being
mention
here.
November the 7th
Yes,
is, election day?
that's way into the.
That's,
Key date?
is it on here? I missed it.
Right down at the bottom where it's on the.
You might be looking at minutes.
Hmm?
Are you looking at the minutes from the last meeting?
That's from the
Mhm.
last meeting, yeah. That's not on. our-
Yeah, no.
Isn't November the 7th election day?
Yeah, that election's been certified and.
Okay.
Mhm. And,
That's when Angela and, how's, the mayor's wife doing?
Oh, I don't know.
I saw Alan, and he said that I didn't come to the swearing in, so.
Mhm.
He said the mayor was taking care of his wife, so she had a little, she was doing a lot better.
But that election has been certified, and we are on a tiny hiatus from the Board of Elections because we have early primaries this time. I've never known a primary to be much before May.
Mm-mm,
And this time primaries are the first Tuesday in March.
Oh,
really?
Yes.
that's in 2
And
months.
those who wanted to run for office
Oh,
had
I just
until
saw
last Friday to register.
Register to run for
to
office.
run. Some did. We had some people who stepped up and came forward. But this is this is the biggies. This is
Okay.
federal, state,
Mhm.
and
Everything.
some people have local ones. Our local ones are done.
Okay.
Here in our area, but we still do have judges, state people in the General Assembly, state Senate, and State House. those seats.
Which that will still be in March.
Well, the actual, that would be the primary. If they're a partisan election, the primaries are for the purpose of, getting on the
ballot.
on the ballot.
For November.
And there's some, we really are trying to, I know I'm committed to trying to do more voter education. There's so much confusion about how this operates. It used to be taught in school, but not anymore, so, you know, you have confusion. Like I said, I can't tell you how many folk came down to the Board of Elections and said, well, I live in Jacksonville. Well, you have a mailing address in Jacksonville. You may not live in the
Right.
city limits.
Mhm.
And it's not, just a lot of confusion about how that operates. And so we're gonna have to really
Well,
push
see,
the accelerator
Marsha.
on that voter education part.
a lot of new people that come in, and remember when we have to change over, every time the old Marines go out to California and they come here, every time this year in June. But when they get here, they don't know that they're in city and county, so they don't know whether they live in the county, the city. I had one to tell me he lived in Piney Green, that he was in the city. I said, no, you're not, baby. And that's why they need to know.
Because you can drive
Where it
down
is.
Piney Green Road
They
and
see
go
that
in
sign say,
and out of the
welcome to
city
Jacksonville.
on that road,
Right.
you know.
And they think they're in the city, right after you pass the golf course. There's a sign saying, welcome to Jacksonville, Jacksonville, city limits. And they live right on the other side of the sign, so they think they're in the city limits.
Yeah, so
It could be.
it's a lot of
Yeah,
confusion.
they could be, but they're not.
Mhm.
Cause I asked them, I said, who do you pay for your water? Jones County. And they said they pay, and Wassa.
Oh, okay.
So you know right there.
And they got, septic tanks.
Gotcha.
But it's, so we'll be working on that, you know.
Some voter
Like I said,
education?
yes, voter
Okay.
education and targeting youth also, getting them involved in early on information, so. And the youth council, we are thinking about working with them because that's
Okay.
already an organized group of young people who clearly could be doing a lot with their time besides
Mhm.
sitting hanging out with you. And the fact that they are willing to do what they're doing in this whole harmony thing, it shows you that you got young people who are really interested.
They've got a lot of them out there
in-
willing to
and,
do
you know,
things.
they are.
Right.
Mhm.
Okay. All right, Ms. Paula?
I think we can call this meeting to a close.
Yep, so we don't have
A quorum.
quorum. We can just agree.
Adjourn.
We just adjourn.
You guys agreed to adjourn?
Well, I did my meeting, just
Alright.
adjourn.
Well, happy
Be
holidays.
safe, happy holidays.
If
Where's
you're
my-
traveling, please be
I'm
safe
still
in
on
your
the
travels.